Welcome to the VET SOS Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight. Remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET SOS Lifeline. The Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight is sponsored by SpearPoint Solutions. SpearPoint Solutions is a one-stop shop for leading-edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors. From AI training to corporate gifts and much more, they have everything you need to help your organization thrive in the modern economy. You can check out all their valuable offerings at spearpointonline.com. And remember to use the code VETSOS to continue to support us and what we're trying to do here at the podcast. Today, we're sitting down with Enrique Acosta, founder, owner of Triad Leadership Solutions LLC. He is a 26-year veteran of the United States Navy. He was named on the power list of the top 200 thought leaders to follow by PeopleHum, a nominee of the top 30 global gurus list by Global Gurus, top 200 biggest voices in leadership by LeadersHum, top 10 inspiring leaders of 24 global 100 executive coach of the year, and 24 best CEO mentorship and leadership development firm for his work in the leadership development arena. He is a best-selling author of 5 books and an award-winning podcaster, sought after John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker, and an avid mentor in 3 national and international organizations. His impactful delivery of leadership truths leaves the listener with renewed hope and energized to regain their position in leadership and make an impact in their sphere of influence. You've had a remarkable career post-military. How are you doing today, Enrique?
I'm doing good, Sean. Good to be here. And one day maybe I'll meet that guy.
It is, especially as a podcast. Isn't it strange listening to your own bio? You're like,
it is. But it's nice to know that there's people out there appreciating what you do.
No, absolutely. So before we jump in the entrepreneur side, let's go ahead and let's talk about your transition. Tell us how your transition out of the military went.
Yeah, it's still going. How about that?
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, 9 years almost 10. I retired in 2015, at the latter part of 2015. Here we are coming on the cusp of 2025, right? So almost 10 years. And it is a daily transition. You have to work this out. It's almost like, church, right? You got to work your salvation out. You got to work this out daily and figure out how you're going to reinvent yourself, reintegrate yourself, and keep the same momentum and same impact you had while in service.
That's a great way to put it. And I love the fact that you addressed it. It's still happening, right? Because too often we think of it just a snapshot in time where, it's an everyday thing, if not a continuous thing. So, all right. So why did you decide to be an entrepreneur? What led you to do that?
Yeah, I tried my hand at corporate. I tried my hand at government service. I tried my hand at local service. And in all 3 cases, I really was enamored with the possibilities, right? It's just, wow, I can do something different. I can make an impact in a different way. But I kept finding that I was hitting some leadership hurdles with the current leadership in all 3 areas that I kind of ventured in. And they seem to be similar in nature, primarily that their leadership style was them first. And, we come from a community that, service before self. The sailor or the airman or the Marine or the coastie is first before the leader. And so it's counterintuitive. It was clashing with me on a daily basis. And that's really why I stopped. I just could not bear another day under that type of leadership where the center point is the leader. And so I decided, there's obviously a lot of learning to be had in all 3 areas. I have a lot of education, a lot of experience in how to put the person that you're leading first. Maybe I should get down into that kind of business. And that's how the whole leadership development thing came about. We just have too much to share and give. And I thought that the world would benefit from a little bit of what I would bring.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. I can't argue with anything you just said. It's definitely interesting when, because you're used to a certain way in the military, and then you get out of the military, and that's not even counting all the additional experience you've learned through John Maxwell and his teachings and other things like that. you just start looking at how different leaders are, and it can be easy to spot the holes and find ways to help them. So you identified a target, you identified a weakness that needed to be fixed. So I applaud you for acting on that. So what's been the best part about being an entrepreneur?
The fact that I see the impact almost immediately. There's a lot of things that you could do that it's kind of like down the road, right? You working. And sometimes in the military, we're like, man, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why we gotta go 9 months? Why can't it be 6 months, right? What could you do with 9 months that you can't do with 6? And so there's an element where it's delayed, that gratification is delayed, that awareness is delayed. And sometimes, even in the military, you don't ever get that answer. But in what I do, as I work with individuals, as I work with groups and they're smaller, as I work with leaders, I see the instant increase in whatever they were looking for by how we operate. And so that's one of the best things that I get to see that on a daily basis.
Well, that's awesome. You get to see the fruit of your labor, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't always get to see that end product. So that's wonderful. What's been the worst part about being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the worst part is the actual business, right? The business part of it. And I tell you, it's chaotic sometimes. The tax structure alone, the team, who you have supporting you, the clients that from one day to another say, hey, you know what? I think I got enough. I'm going to stop. And hey, for that piece, if they feel, because it's all client based, right? So if they feel that they have what they came looking for, hey, you bid them farewell, and you applaud their growth so far, and you let them know that you're there for any time that they desire to come back and get some more. So, but the business aspect is probably one of the complicated things and least enjoyable.
Yeah, I would imagine you probably love getting in the trenches and doing the teaching, the training, the hands-on stuff. And yeah, I could definitely see how that could be the worst part of it. So when you decided to start your business, and even after you started it, has there been any entrepreneurial programs or anything you've done or taken part in to help you grow your business or learn how to run your business?
Oh yeah, there's several that I have been part of here locally in Orlando. VEI, Veteran Entrepreneurship Initiative, has a lot of entrepreneur focused programs. So kudos to them for having that here in Orlando. The Camaraderie Foundation has programs that allow you to mentor. So from the aspect of giving, but also getting, because every time you teach something or you present something, you're learning it all over again. So Camaraderie Foundation has done a great job in providing mentorship for those transitioning and for those wanting to go into something specific. There's a CEO course with JULO strategies here in Florida, and now they're branching off Texas and some other places. But it's a CEO focused course, and and Julianne, which is the CEO of JULO Strategy, also helps you to learn how to be the CEO, right? And so it's called CEO Mindset, and it's a very great course that I was able to partake in.
Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't heard of that one. Definitely have to look into some of these. But no, that's fantastic that you're continuing to use different resources, continue to grow and help you flush out things, if you will, right? All right. So tell us about Triad Leadership Solutions.
Yeah, well, Triad Leadership Solutions obviously came about my last about 12 years in the service as a senior enlisted leader. I was able to get into some positions where, if you have a relationship with what we call in the Navy, the Triad. That's the CO, XO, and yourself as a senior enlisted. That dynamic, I wish that, and it is my aim to develop that same dynamic on the civilian side, because there's so much benefit to having three people that are all trying to make the mission work, but with different aspects of what the whole, what we say company or command looks like, right? You have your person that represents the junior enlisted and all the enlisted force, as well as the junior officers, because we're charged with training them in the aspect of how to lead. Then you have your mid-level officers up until the executive officer, and they kind of work the deal in terms of leadership. And then you have the guy that, or the gal that calls the shots, right? And so that dynamic was what inspired Triad Leadership Solutions. And so we are a consulting firm. We do coaching, training, and I also speak through that venue. We also host or are the host to Developing the Leader Within podcast, which is my main podcast. And what we endeavor to do is to get you to understand that you don't have to suck at this thing called leadership. and so our staple training is called From Success to Success, because if you was honest with yourself as a leader, you would say, look, I don't have it all in the bag. I don't have all the questions. I just act like I do. And so we're trying to get people from faking it to actually making it and doing it. And so that's what we do. We provide that type of service through either consulting, and some people come for advice or mentorship. So it depends. Through the call, I kind of, dig out what it is that the person is really looking for. And then either I have that service or I'll put them on to somebody that actually does.
Very nice. So you're working with other organizations too, which is phenomenal. I love hearing that, because that tells me that you're not just taking advantage of people. If it's not something you do, you're not even going to pretend to do it. You're going to send them, to someone else who you trust. So,
well, it would be counter to what I'm trying to teach,
yeah.
right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, awareness and truth is what we live by. So if it is not me, I know someone, right? And we just added an element of the actual medical side of leadership, which people don't understand, is that, hey, if I speak to a leader, and I just partner with Dr. Z and her platform. If a person comes to me is, let's say, obese, I can't help them with their obesity, but I can help them with their leadership thing. I say, hey, I noticed that a lot that you say, you're tired all the time. That's an issue, but I have this doctor that can actually help you with that. And so then, we partner that way.
Awesome. Yeah. So partnering with, key people that, yeah, and not to mention you're building trust, and you already have a trust with a potential client that you're building. So that goes a long way. And so that's outstanding. So what's the best place for our audience to connect with you and also to check out your business?
Yeah, the best place is to connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I reside most of all the time. You can look at the contact portion on there. My website is on there, or just send me a DM and I can direct you where you need to go. But that would be the very best place to get me.
Well, fantastic, man. I love what you're doing. And, I've been a fan of yours for a while, and most people don't know this, but honestly, one of the reasons that we are sitting here talking today is that you took the time to talk to me when I was transitioning. And in fact, I looked it up while we were talking just to make sure I had it right. I literally put in there, hey, I'm getting ready to start a podcast, and I was told to reach out to you about podcasting. So right from the very beginning, you've been a part of this VES thing, to help us get going. And, it speaks to me, it speaks volumes about who you are, as a leader, but also just as a veteran and wanting to help other veterans and everything. So thank you for, all the help you gave me and continue to give me. And thank you for everything you're doing for our community, man. You're a true pillar. Absolutely love it.
Oh, thank you, Sean, for sharing that. And, for those that are transitioning, we are here to help. So reach out. Don't be shy.
Yep, absolutely. Well said. Enrique, I want to thank you for joining Vet SOS today. And on behalf of the entire Vet SOS family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining in today. You can find Vet SOS podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and all social media platforms. Make sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss anything. And remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet SOS Lifeline.